In the front room of a bungalow in Umpalungu, Zambia, a man believed to be a murderer is undergoing ritual interrogation. His interrogator, dressed in red, calls himself Dr. Biela, the healer. Others call him a witch doctor. This bizarre ceremony, an often disturbing combination of exorcism, magic show and histrionics, is my introduction to life in one of the more advanced ex-British colonies of southern Africa. Dr. Biela has only recently arrived in town from Zaire. He's already caught a thief. He's a big attraction. He agrees to give me a private consultation, in public. Have I any evil spirits in me?
You have got a shadow here. As you are here, you have got a shadow, and that shadow will tell him that this shadow is a right shadow, an evil shadow.
I have an evil shadow. So it is a
bad shadow.
What form does the shadow take?
So yes, I can see a certain shadow of a woman. For a woman, I don't know if she is.
What does she look like?
It's not tall. It's fat a bit.
I have a long journey ahead of me. Is this shadow dangerous for me? With his mesmerizing high-pitched voice and lazy, bloodshot, unavoidable eyes, Dr. Biela is certainly charismatic. But should I believe a word he says?
This shadow, you've got a very bad shadow, which you can be rich, but sometimes that thing can drive out all your wealth.
Can drive out?
All your richness.
All my?
Your money, all the wealth.
Oh,
yes.
I see. Can drive out all my money.
Yes, it's just like stealing.
Wow. When he tells me I'm bewitched by an evil shadow who will drive out all my money, it hardly matters what I believe. Everyone else round here believes him. Can he help me? Yes, yes, of course, he can help with medicine, but it won't be on the national health. What is in the medicine?
Only the medicine of washing, to wash up in the medicine, not to drink.
I wash in the medicine.
Yes.
Half expecting him to produce a live chicken, I'm rather relieved to be prescribed a piece of tree bark, one of his less menacing props.
Giving you is to wash out your body, your evil spirits in your body.
I'm not quite sure how I'm going to wash with it. Maybe I should just clout the evil spirits. Thank you. There is thankfully another side to life in Umpalungu, the refreshingly unspellbinding world of fish. 100 tons of Lake Tanganyika's finest is shipped south every month. It's the direction we must go as well. All our efforts to date have been geared towards reaching the tip of Africa in time to catch a supply ship called the Agulhas, which makes the one and only yearly crossing to Antarctica from Cape Town. If we fail to make this connection, we fail to reach the pole. I take the first fish lorry out of town. I feel as weary now as at any time on the journey. Could be the sticky heat, the lingering memory of Dr. Biella, or simply the realization of the distance we still have ahead of us. Even the news seems ominous. In the country's first democratic election for 18 years, Kenneth Kaunda has been rejected by the people he's ruled since independence.
I tried to do my very best for Zambia, its people, and mankind as a whole. If my very best did not completely meet the aspirations of all those I tried to serve, this was never out of lack of trying. This is the nature of multi-party politics. You win some and you lose some elections.
Not everybody's as gloomy as me and Kenneth Kaunda. For the supporters of Frederick Chiluba and the movement for multi-party democracy, the slogan has worked. Their hour has come.
It is our duty to build this vibrant Zambia. The hour is ours.
Unfortunately, they're under the impression that the coming of their hour is being witnessed by a crack BBC News crew. I suppose it's too late to tell them these pictures won't be on for a year. Well, have a beer. It was great. Congratulations if you're a voter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Keep the hour going.
Amazing. To the Third Republic. Is that what they're calling it today, the Third Republic?
Yeah. Come on.
Takes me back.
Yeah.
I still don't really understand the politics. 200 miles south from Umpalungu, my already confused system experiences violent culture shock. This is Shiwa, an English country estate in the heart of the Zambian bush. It's owned and run by John Harvey and his wife Lorna. They've agreed to put us up on our way south. When I look out of the windows, I'm not sure if I'm really here at all. It's just like a tired traveller's dream. Everything you think you miss about Britain. But the dream was here long before me. It belonged to Lorna's father, Sir Stuart Gore Brown. He first came to this hilltop 80 years ago. He now lies buried here, at the heart of the estate he created. On his grave is the name the local people gave him, Chipambele.
It means rhinoceros, which was his African name. And a rhino charges and then actually stops. And he was just like that, you know, evil-tempered man. And you get very angry with you, and then in 5 minutes later you could be asking for a loan. And our children are rather like that.
Here he wanted to create the type of life, recreate the type of life that he'd known in England, a big country house, a big estate, himself as a squire.
His paternalist ambitions were not only fulfilled, they still shape life at Shiwa. Every Sunday, the wives and children of the estate put on their best clothes and process to the Gore Brown family chapel. There are always two services, one Catholic, one Protestant, according presumably to which missionary got there first. This is the Catholic service, and they're singing the Gloria. Sir Stuart's military background still casts a long shadow over Shewa. This is the muster ceremony. Every morning at 7 o'clock, the estate workers are summoned for roll call. Each man is then brought forward and given his daily tasks. The man who may one day inherit Sir Stuart's dream is John Harvey's son David. He learnt his farming in England. Conditions are much tougher here. As a precaution against ticks that cause fatal disease, Shewa's cattle must be put through the dip once every week. There are 2,000 of them. The process takes 3 days. A 150% inflation rate is the last in a series of misfortunes that have beset the Harveys. They've always had to be ingenious, but the estate is littered with ghosts of good ideas at the time. This was an essential oils factory supplying perfumes to Europe. Since then, they've tried timber, eggs, chickens. Nothing lasted for long. John won't give up. His latest hope is a safari company.
If you look around Zambia, you will find that people like David, my son, are staying here. His 2 brothers are here. There are lots of people of that age group, trained overseas, educated in England and the States, who are coming back here because they feel that there is a life to be made here and that they can make enough money to live happily.
Do you think you will one day retire, or will you always be running Shewa?
Well, that's, I remember I told you that I was a soldier, and there is a saying that old soldiers fade away.
Yeah.
I think that's what's
They never die,
though. They never die. I think that's going to happen to me.
Every evening at sundown, the flag bearing the Harvey coat of arms is lowered, and dinner is taken in the traditional British style. But the talk is of Africa.
Well, I was taken to see a witch doctor in Mpulungu, who told me that I had an evil shadow, and indeed gave me something to get rid of this. And I thought at the time, well, this is a joke, it's a fraud. But ever since then, the last sort of couple of days, especially as I didn't feel very well the night afterwards, I thought, is there anything in it? I mean, what do you think it is?
I think there is a darker side. I know of an incident in Chisamba where we have another farm of a farmer losing a motor, having a motor stolen. And he got very frustrated and ended up bringing in the witch doctor. And he lined all his staff up. And the witch doctor tapped each member of staff on the shoulder with a stick, both shoulders, and walked down this line. And eventually he came to a man and he tapped him on the shoulder and tore a strip of skin off him. This man then duly broke down and cried and admitted that he was the man who was involved stealing the motor.
Would you use a witch doctor?
Yes, I think I would, yeah, definitely.
It makes me feel awful, I mean.
Since I left Shewa, another chapter has been written in its brave but blighted history. John and Lorna Harvey were attacked and killed in southern Zambia 6 months later. At the nearest railhead, we pick up a southbound train in the company of a family travelling with everything and the kitchen sink.
Ladies and gentlemen, express number 1 conveys passengers from Conakry to Livingston.
I'm glad to be off the roads and back on trains, where, however, briefly, you do run the risk of meeting people. What were you putting on board? There seemed to be your whole house going in onto the train.
My son is moving to Livingston. It's my son's household.
And what did he have? Bed there, and bed and chairs and tables. Has he taken everything from his home here?
Everything.
There's no problem finding a seat in the dining car. This, it turns out, is due to a complete lack of anything on which to dine. Everything except the tablecloth is off. There can't be many borders as emphatic as that between Zambia and Zimbabwe at the Victoria Falls. The meandering river Zambezi, which marks the frontier, plunges 300 feet over cliffs a mile long. The column of spray thrown up can be seen 20 miles away. It drew Livingstone here in 1855, the first white man to set eyes on the falls. At the bottom of the gorge, the river is flung about in a series of tortuous rapids. There are people crazy enough to take boats over these rapids, and what's more, people daft enough to pay them to do it.
And I always try to make it easy for you guys to know which side is going first onto the downstream side, okay? And then the easy way I'll do it for you is to call for that side which is going first onto the downstream side. When I say crash forward, I mean the first 3 go to crashing, and 2 go right up on top body crashing. Remember, hang on.
This is the wonderful world of whitewater rafting. Alex, our driver and guide, may smile a lot and look like Superman, but he's as tightly wrapped in a life jacket as the rest of us.
That's it, right? All right, so when I call for a go, turn around and face onto the wave side, right? Okay, you guys all set? Go! Come on back. Pull it in.
One of us has fallen overboard already. This doesn't bode at all well.
Yep. You ready for some whitewater action? All right, let's go rafting then.
As we near the point of no return, I have the extraordinary sensation that my stomach is several yards behind me. For those interested in technicalities, Nigel's camera is strapped to his shoulder like a parrot, and my personal microphone is waterproofed inside 3 condoms. Well, I'm still here, Alec. Haven't got rid of me yet. But there's harder ones to come.
Well, starting from rapid number 4 will be like beginning of some real good whitewater. Rapid number 4 will be a class 4 rapid. And the next after that will be rapid number 5, which is a class 5 rapid. And then from there on, we're running in some really, really good class 4 and 5 whitewater.
Well, what's the class system of rapids then? How much, what does it go up to? What's the worst?
The highest class you can run in the raft is a class 5.
The highest you can run in a raft, so we're going on for the highest.
We are going for the highest. Okay, the Zambezi is known as one of the biggest white waters you can get in the whole world. So we're doing some real white water out here.
There's hardly time for fear, though at this point I distinctly remember something I want to change in my will. The joy of survival is tempered only by the knowledge that there's worse to come. The final irony is that in sheer exhilaration at surviving the last of 9 rapids, I swim for shore, hit a rock, and crack a rib. Next day I make my way painfully slowly across the Zambezi Bridge, trying to ignore any connection between witch doctors and whitewater rafting. But if I thought I did something silly yesterday, watch this. A man throws himself into the 300-foot gorge and back again for fun. This is the comparatively new sport of bungee jumping. Makes whitewater rafting look like a day at the paddling pool. And it's popular, so popular that people are actually queuing to jump off. If there's something about the Zambezi Gorge that attracts loonies, then there's something about Zambia that has attracted misfortune. Apart from cracking a rib, I've also had a suitcase stolen and one of our crew has had malaria. Last night, I finally tried Dr. Baila's medicine. Perhaps it was a little too late. Anyway, the end of the bridge marks somewhere new. Zimbabwe. At first, Zimbabwe looks old-fashioned, but compared to Zambia, it's a land of progress. Blessed with huge reserves of coal, they've kept a lot of their old steam engines, and not just for nostalgia. Having said that, Bulawayo Station does take me back a few years, to those far-off days before whitewater rafting, when climbing on the footplate at Sheffield Midland was the ultimate excitement. With a cracked rib, it's the ultimate test of the unreformed train spotter.
How old is this locomotive?
I think it must be about 30 years old.
30 years old?
Yeah.
How old are you?
I'm 34.
About the same age as a loco.
Almost the same age.
Why did you become an engine driver?
Because I've always liked trains. I used to like trains when I was a young kid.
The railways of southern Africa were once described as the sinews of empire. The man who built them was Cecil John Rhodes. His mixture of megalomania and foresight opened up huge areas of the continent and created a country in his name, Rhodesia. This train, preserved in Bulawayo, proves he put his money where his mouth was. 100 years ago, it was all the rage for anybody who was anybody to have their own railway coach. And as Cecil Rhodes owned a large chunk of southern Africa, he was not to be left out. And this one was made for him by the Pullman Company in America in 1895 and has absolutely everything your African commuter could want. A complete kitchen range and many other delights besides. His own bathroom, complete with enamel bath, bedroom, mahogany panelled, and through here his reception room where he could casually entertain other people who'd made spectacular amounts of money from carving up Africa. But more poignantly, this was also the coach in which he made his last journey. At the age of 49 in 1902, he was brought from Cape Town, where he died, to the place where he had requested to be buried, just outside Bulawayo. In his will, he wrote, "I admire the grandeur and loneliness of the Matapos Mountains in Rhodesia, and therefore I desire to be buried on the hill which I called the View of the World, in a square to be cut in the rock, covered by a brass plate, with these words thereon, 'Here lies the remains of Cecil John Rhodes.'" And here, despite repeated threats by Zimbabwe's rulers to dig him up and send him back to London, Cecil Rhodes, the empire builder, still lies. Rhodesia disappeared over a decade ago after a violent guerrilla war, but the country still feels as English as anywhere I've been on this continent. Bulawayo's streets and parks are all evidence of that most European of concepts, civic pride. The trauma of independence seems to have had little effect on the BBC, the Bulawayo Bowling Club. Membership has dwindled from 400 to 120, but there are still 5 greens to choose from, and Pearl Shepherd, the club secretary, is bullish.
Our youngest member is a boy of about 14, goes to boarding school, so he just plays at school holidays. And our oldest member is that lady you saw on the green there, she's 86. So you get a very representative crowd, people from all walks of life and all ages and everything, all come and play bowls.
Do you have any black African players?
We don't have any, no. Actually, the Africans are not particularly interested in bowls. All the clubs are open, of course. The only black bowlers we've got in Bulawayo belong to the Blind Bowlers Association, and they have been brought into the game through the association that helps people who are partially sighted or blind, and they encourage them to play bowls. It's really quite fantastic to see some of them play, because they might not be able to see anything, and yet they call out instructions to them, and they sometimes play incredible bowls.
One place no member of the BBC would be seen dead is the gloriously named Umshitshimbo Beer Garden. The Umshitshimbo Garden is little more than a concrete patch behind a downtown hotel, but it's one of the most popular places in Bulawayo to drink and jive. The music scene is thriving in Zimbabwe, and bands like Southern Freeway, fronted by a South African, Steve Dyer, regularly pack the place out. Won't you come back home? What's your money you win now? Up on Sula dance to the rhythm. Don't you see the darkness falling? There's low life and high life at the Umshitshimbo. Shots of gin top up the castle lager, and when the band stops, the music is replaced by long public service announcements on the dangers of AIDS. No one listens. Won't you come back home? Still, it's the happiest memory I take away from Bulawayo. Go home, your mother 200 miles south of Bulawayo, we reach our last country in Africa, our springboard to Antarctica and the South Pole. On the banks of the Limpopo River, miles of razor wire and steel mesh guard the Republic of South Africa from the rest of the world. Life changes completely. Despite years of sanctions and universal ostracism, Western luxury starts here. Where else in Africa could you rent a white BMW? Country number 14 is undergoing as profound a change as any we've passed through. 4 months before we arrived, apartheid was officially abolished. No one quite knows where South Africa goes next. In the shadow of gold-tinted slag heaps is Johannesburg, the biggest city we've seen since Cairo. Unlike Cairo, Johannesburg is cool, calm and corporate. Retrieving the gold on which their wealth is built leads to spectacular feats of engineering.
Traveling at about 17 meters a second.
17 meters a second. 2 kilometers.
2 kilometers.
This is Western Deep Levels Mine. It's in the Guinness Book of Records for the deepest penetration of man into the Earth's crust, 2.5 miles. 7,000 men work down here. They're drawn from so many different tribes and countries that a special mining language has been developed. Fanakalo is the Esperanto of the mines. It's taught in what is probably the world's deepest classroom.
Yenalo sa ha. Yenalo sa ha. Yenalo sa ha. Yenalo sa ha. Ini lo. Yenalo sa ha. Yenalo spanel. Yenalo spanel.
Yenalo spanel.
Mushe. Ini lo.
Yenalo spanel.
Spanel. Ini lo.
Yenalo spanel.
Mushe. Spanel. Okay, mushe.
Armed only with the word for spanner, I'm escorted out of the air-conditioned tunnels to where mining starts to get painful.
Bit dangerous around here.
Where's this water from?
This is from the stope where they're busy drilling. You know, it's drilling water, and we're walking up the strike gully towards the stope itself.
Yeah.
And we'll be going up a ladderway here.
Sure.
Into the area. It's quite hot now, isn't it?
Yeah. Hot and wet. It's 30 degrees centigrade at the rock face. Crouched in a chamber 4 foot high, the team has been drilling for almost 6 hours. One man operates the drill, one checks the equipment, one directs water to cool the drill. An engineer locates and directs operations into an inch-wide gold-bearing seam. He's the only white man. It takes nearly 4 hours to change shifts, and as the miners check in their lamps, the technicians are gathering at the crucible. It's a very select band that witnesses the final act of the drama. How can you tell when the gold is coming through?
Okay, if you look through the mask there, you'll see that the gold is now a silvery, a greeny silvery colour.
Oh yeah, it's changing.
You can see it now coming out through the top of the pot.
Yeah, and
that's how you know where the gold is actually coming out.
Yeah, So how much gold is there actually going to be in this particular smelting?
In this one here, we're probably getting about 3 bars of gold. That's about 80 kilograms of gold.
Can you tell me something? I don't know why you have feather dusters in here. It's a very industrial sort of environment. It's 3 feather dusters. Where are they? Up there. What are they there for?
Well, all the dust in the smelt house could contain some of the gold. So every single spot of dust is collected and put back into the furnace. So nothing is taken outside of the smelt house. Even overalls are put back into the furnace sometimes.
Not going to give me an internal check, are you? Back in Johannesburg, I'm made aware of just how long I've been away from home. We left in high summer. Now it's less than a month to the festive season.
Snow, in the bleak midwinter.
There's nothing like Christmas decorations to provoke a twinge of homesickness. But I console myself that if all goes well, I could get home from the South Pole just in time to start shopping. But Africa has one last and particularly nasty trick in store for us. Back at the hotel, a message is waiting for me. Though it isn't from my favourite witch doctor, it might as well be. I can't quite believe the news and double-check with our production office in London. Hello, Mimi? Yeah, it's Michael. Yeah, I've just got your fax. Yeah, and I can't believe it. Is that about the Agulhas? Yes, they have no berths at all? Can you investigate every... The Agulhas is sailing to Antarctica, but such is the demand from scientists that all places on board have been taken. There is no room for us. While our London office tries every alternative, we can only hope and wait. We decide to spend the day at Soweto. It has a Latin motto, Conjuncte agamus, let's pull together. I find the place full of surprises. This house, I'm told, boasts the ultimate in Soweto status symbols, a white security guard. Jimmy, my guide, lives round here. He's a man of sharp wit and little sentiment. Despite these signs of affluence, he tells me that in Soweto, BMW still means break my windows. Jimmy, this looks, to all intents and purposes, like the Beverly Hills of Soweto. What sort of people live here?
Well, it's the affluent black people living here, and professional people, businessmen, doctors, lawyers, successful people, hard workers, if I may put them.
Yeah.
These are the people I call people who work for the bank. They don't work in the bank, they work for the bank.
If you have a lot of money, if you make a lot of money in Soweto, do people tend to stay here, or is there a feeling that they want to move?
No, there's a big feeling of people moving. I've been seeing signs recently for sale, simply because the group areas act is over or done with. So it's a question of now economic apartheid. Those who have the money can move with the Joneses. You don't have the money.
Why do they move from Soweto?
It's a feeling of people tend to look for what they couldn't be given all the time, or what you were prohibited from doing. That's exactly what you want to do. Now that it's open and people feel it's much nicer in the city, in the suburbs, convenient. 3-5 minutes drive from wherever to the city, or buses and transportation.
Transportation is one of the latest ways to make money in Soweto. So serious is the tribal violence on public railways that Sowetans now prefer to fight for a place on a private minibus. There are currently 145,000 of them, and the numbers are rising.
Simply because there's more people.
Soweto was set up in 1933 to house a cheap labour force. Shanty settlements like this one, known as Mandela Village, are the legacy of that decision. These are the families of people who are not wanted, and probably never will be. If you're prepared to leave your family, you could try your luck in one of the hostels. Jimmy doesn't recommend it.
How can you have, 16 men in one room? There's 16 smells of food. This one cooking that, this one doing this. And sometimes people want to rest. You've been working at night time, and the other one has been working during the day. And men in general put together.
Yeah.
Yeah, these are the haircut, the barbers.
Yeah.
Street barbers. Money making, of course.
Yeah.
As you can see, it's connected electrically from the battery.
Oh, sure.
And
Yeah.
that's how they get the electricity to do all this.
So that's just someone who's coming off the street to get a bit of work
just
here.
a bit of work.
Yeah.
And work's on.
How much do they pay for this, Jimmy?
12 rand to 15 rand per bird.
Yeah.
Different hostels have different
Per
prices.
bed, for a
Per
month.
bird, a month.
£3 a month. What sort of wage are they earning? I mean, are these the lowest wage earners here?
Most people in the hostel are low wage earners, but you get quite a few earning roughly 500 rand a month, depending
Really?
where they're working. The companies they're working for, 500 would be what? About £100 a month.
So there'll be people here earning £100 a month and staying here?
Yeah.
It's much nicer inside than it is out. Outside it looks a real
except that
tip.
it's a hostel. You can't imagine living being
Yeah.
8 in 1. It's like dormitory style. And
Yeah.
if you have to spend all your life, this is pretty bad shape.
Yeah. Before I leave Soweto, I have some visiting to do. It's a sign of the changing times that the Gwangwa family, once good neighbours of ours in London, have, because of their ANC membership, only just been allowed back into the country of their birth. 6 months ago, this visit would never have been possible. Wrong day.
Hey, there you are!
Oh, great to see you.
Oh, great to see you.
That's wonderful.
That's right.
No,
Me
that's
too.
Hello. And my Lucy?
Right.
No,
Lucy's that
where's
side.
my Lucy? Somewhere else.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. One Lucy.
Oh.
Oh, look at that. Look at that.
Welcome, Michael, to Gwangwa family. Oh, you do that for everybody, I know. Well,
No, this is they use with that cow dung.
oh, cow dung, is it? Oh,
This is
nice.
cow dung, and then they all do this. That's the decorations
Fresh
that they
cow
do.
dung, yes.
Fresh cow dung that you
We
had
should
to
have done that for you in London, but we couldn't get the cow dung, so I had to come here and do it.
Okay, let's look what we see.
Kicking our heels for another day, we join a Saturday afternoon football crowd. Sport is multiracial in South Africa now, but rugby remains the white game and soccer the black game.
£64. £54.
Today's match is a cup semi-final. Sundowns of Pretoria are taking on Cosmos of Johannesburg. We leave Johannesburg with nothing decided, but at least we leave in style. This is the Blue Train, which runs expensively between Pretoria and Cape Town. I justify it to myself as a reward for all the rough riding we've done through Africa. The Nile Valley Express in Sudan carried 4,000 people. The Blue Train's carrying just 92, and no one's allowed on the roof. The contrast with everything that's gone before is so complete as to be almost unnerving. What on earth does one do with 9 pieces of cutlery? The answer is you order a nice bottle of South African Chardonnay and stop feeling guilty. After all, how many people here have cracked ribs and evil shadows? No one ever gets on, no one ever gets off. In this air-conditioned, double-glazed luxury, I feel a bit like an overfed goldfish, able to observe the outside world from my sumptuous bowl whilst remaining completely detached from it. I should think it could quite easily drive you mad. The last 900 miles of Africa run from Johannesburg across the high veldt and the wide, dry, scrubby plain they call the Karoo to approach the Cape in a scenic firework display of mountains, valleys and vineyards. "7,000 miles and nearly 3 months after entering Port Said, the unmistakable shape of Table Mountain marks the end of Africa. I think Africa's changed me. Until I reached Mpalungu, I was an incurable optimist, but something started to go wrong there. And I've reached Cape Town as an incurable fatalist. What will be, will be. From the top of Table Mountain, you can see the point where the Indian and Atlantic Oceans meet. Beyond that, 2,500 miles over the horizon, is Antarctica. But the most poignant sight of all is down in the harbour, a red-hulled supply ship we've chased through Africa to reach. In the end, we made it, but our appeal for space on board the Agulhas has failed. And when she sails tomorrow on the only voyage of the year between Cape Town and the Antarctic, we'll still be here. The journey, it seems, is over.
And the final episode is here next Sunday at 9. But Michael's back tomorrow on BBC Two, casting that self-deprecating eye over his past escapades. Travels of a Lifetime, new at 8. Just 10 minutes away, we head down under for Aussie thriller Mystery Road.